So what's up, Urban Acolyte fans, Star Wars fans, and all y'all out there? My name is Prince, and I'm an Urban Acolyte, and I got the man himself, Vincent Vendetta, the breaker of the YouTube algorithm. This guy posts Star Wars fan theories that completely shatter YouTube, and they all go viral. We're here to talk Star Wars, the Reylo fan theory that you guys have been asking me to talk about, and anything up that comes up while we have this interesting conversation. So what's up, man? I'm gonna shut up for a minute.
Hi, yeah, I'm happy to be here, and I'm always looking for excuses to talk about Reylo, so this is perfect.
Cool. So we'll just jump into it. So I watched the Reylo video back when you first posted it, and then I watched it again yesterday, and you really have a lot of information. But are you a fan of Reylo?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Reylo. Now, when I first heard about it, I think I just saw maybe like an article, didn't even really read it. I thought it was, it's like, that sounds, I thought it was like a fan fiction kind of thing, which is it. And then, I wasn't really that big of a fan. And then once I really started to look into it, because I wanted to make a video about it, like I became obsessed, like pretty much most people who started reading into it. And it's pretty much like all I live for now. It's like pretty much the main thing that I'm looking forward to when it comes to like The Last Jedi and 9.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of the things that I liked about your video was that you pointed out that there's a possible mirroring of the story from Knights of the Old Republic with Revan and Bastila, because that's something I said in a video last summer. As I said, look, Kylo Ren could turn out to be inspired by Revan, and Rey could be inspired by Bastila. It kind of makes sense, and they could get together, and you could end up with six movies just based on that relationship.
Right. And I don't know too much about it. I first heard about Revan and Bastila from Many Media. He made a video about them, that and Reylo, and from what I've read, they seem very similar. Definitely, like the Force bond that they have seems to be similar to what we're starting to see with Rey and Kylo.
Yeah, and Rey, apologies if this is a spoiler. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But from what I've been hearing, and I said this in last summer in videos, that the Force back visions are going to tell Kylo Ren's backstory. So in 8, I think we're going to see, as Rey continues to have these Force back visions and they become clearer, we're going to see how Kylo Ren fell, and I guess through his story, learn what led to that fall. So I'm starting to wonder, like, why is Rey having visions of Kylo Ren's history and not her own?
Exactly. Well, we learned a little bit through her first Force vision about her past. Not too much, but that she was dropped off on Jakku, and now she's going to be learning about his, and who knows if he'll have a vision or not in The Last Jedi. Who knows, right? But there seems to be a lot of focus on both of their backstories and like how they grew up and how they both were abandoned by their family. Right? Which is very important. It's like the most important thing about Rey is that she was abandoned by her family on Jakku, and the most important thing about Kylo Ren, story at least, is that he was abandoned by his family too. Leia was always working and whatnot, and dropped him off with Luke, and Han Solo, always stealing and doing whatever he's doing, smuggling and whatnot. So Kylo feels
racing.
Pardon?
And racing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I start to want, because like Bloodline introduced, I don't have any notes in front of me, but it introduced like Leia's pilot, and then you learn that she was a racer that Han took under his wing, and then there's a short story in Star Wars Insider magazine that actually tells that story where she wins this race and Han like helps her win. I think it was like she was racing against an ex-boyfriend, and the dude was like psycho, like basically I think he was trying to kill her during the race. Which is crazy, and Han like takes that guy out and gives her the go ahead to win the race. I'm under this impression that Han was always taking these racers under his wing. So I just in my little head canon, I kind of dreamed up this scenario that Ben wanted to be a racer. He wanted to be a pilot. And it's like, no, you got the Force and you need to go do Jedi stuff. We're going to send you off to Jedi camp. And all he really wanted was to race and fly whatever. We don't know what happened to the Millennium Falcon, but he wanted to, at some point he was, a little kid flying on the Falcon. And that's what in my mind, that's what he wanted to do. And it's like, he didn't get to do it. And, it's like, oh, I have to go be this Jedi. And then, right. The whole, oh, guess who grandfather really is? And that just kind of,
I completely agree. Definitely. I think that's probably what happened, because even with the deleted scene where he went into the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon and said Han Solo, and I saw some like artwork where like just some fan art where you see him as a child with Han Solo like on his lap, and Han Solo's teaching Ben how to fly. And yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And we're hearing a lot about him in The Last Jedi, about how he's probably an extremely good pilot, and he has like his own ship and whatnot. So yeah. I could see that definitely.
Yeah. That's I talked about that in the video that I'm editing to post later today. Is we saw the picture of his new ship in the pictures that came out yesterday on Entertainment Weekly. So we'll get to see him flex his skills in episode 8 as a pilot. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
What else? There was I'm trying to, in my head, I'm trying to see the video again so I can raise some more points.
Well, just with that point, I feel like that's it. They're the fact that they were both abandoned by their families. Like, I'm going to be going into a lot more depth in part 2. So like, I feel like that's what really is bringing them together, right? Because that's what they want. Their entire lives are just like trying to find a belonging and a family to be with, right? Right. And Rey started to get that with Han Solo, but obviously Han Solo's dead now, and maybe she's trying to get that with Luke, but as we're starting to see, Luke is kind of like a grumpy old man. I doubt that they're going to be getting along too well. They'll probably get along decently well, but he seems to be not the family that she's really longing for, and nobody really understands her like Kylo would, right? And she kind of understands Kylo about his being abandoned by his family, so it really brings them together.
Yeah, that was what I was getting ready to ask was, do you, and I don't want to spoil your video, but we could set it up here. Do you think that Rey was purposefully left on Jakku?
Sorry, my dog's barking. Athena.
It's okay.
I don't know what I assume happened is I think that her parents. So my guess is that her parents have been killed, and they're spoiler alert. Like this, the whole thing's gonna be spoilers. So like there's I think it was an Entertainment Weekly thing or something. They said that she was an orphan. Which orphan most of the time means that your parents are dead. Not all the time, but it pretty much does. So I think her parents are dead, and they were being chased by the First Order, by Luke, maybe, who knows. And they just ditched her last minute on the way out, because they knew they were about to get killed. So I think that's what happened.
Yeah. I've had those same feelings. I mean, wasn't seriously pushing this, even though there were a couple of people who, you make videos and some people, oh yeah, this is definitely going to happen. But I made up this scenario where her parents were Thane Kyrell and Ciena Ree from Lost Stars, and I said, well, both of them basically defected from the Empire. Ciena Ree, not necessarily by choice, but because she was captured by the New Republic, and in the book ends, she's incarcerated. But I figured she'd be free. Rey comes around 10 or 11 years later. So it's possible, but not like seriously, but if they come back into the public eye, I said if her parents have ties to the Empire, it would make sense that they're being pursued by the First Order, and they drop her off on Jakku. Maybe they're looking for Luke Skywalker, who knows, and the First Order's coming after them, and they get taken out, and
it is a little weird that they dropped her off with Unkar Plutt, though, because of course he is aligned with the First Order. Although he is, he might be a little bit of he might be doing his own thing. He maybe doesn't take orders, but I don't know. He seems to be pretty aligned with the First Order, so that is a little weird. But who knows? Who knows what's going on?
Yeah, and then, with him being kind of the boss of Jakku, he could be working with someone who's First Order, and he not really know. It's like I'm working with this dude, and this dude knows a dude. This guy knows a guy, but I don't really know that I'm like working with the mafia. Like I kind of know, but I don't know.
Yeah,
could be one of those kind, because he didn't know about Palpatine's little excavation site. He sent some of his guys down there to investigate, and then they either didn't come back or they came back after they had their butts handed to them by stormtroopers that are still standing watch there. So yeah, but it is interesting that she gets dropped off there, and that was like where the Empire made their last stand, and Palpatine had his whole thing going on there, like his contingency plan. And then there's like this other stuff. There's like this Force Nexus or something there on the planet. Yeah. And then this weird religion that was there.
There's something going on Jakku for sure.
Yeah.
So there's probably more to the story on why they chose Jakku, definitely. And I just thought like maybe even like Unkar could have like a life debt with her parents or something, because he obviously doesn't like Rey, and he doesn't care about her at all. Like it seemed like he was doing a favor, in my opinion. So I could see him like just having a life debt that he's just fulfilling by reluctantly taking care of Rey. But yeah, there's definitely something going on Jakku. I mean, I'm forgetting his name right now, but what was the guy at the beginning of the movie who died?
Lor Santekka.
Yeah, like he's on the planet with the religious,
Church of the Force.
Church of the Force. Yeah, I'm really tired. I know all those things, but I'm really tired now. But yeah,
it's okay. I go blank all the time.
Yeah, so. And who knows? I mean, he could be her dad. I mean, I doubt it, but he could be. Like
it's
watching over her, or like a relative of some sort.
I think that there might be ties there. Like even her, at this point I wouldn't be surprised if her parents were members of the Church of the Force. They dropped her off with the intentions that she would end up there with the pilgrims in Tuono Village, and I don't know. See, I have a big question mark about when Lor Santekka actually arrived on Jakku. I think that settlement was there before he got there, and that was one of the reasons he went to Jakku. I think that she's there and they're there, and there's not a coincidence. Of course, as far as storytelling goes, that's why BB-8 ended up there and them meeting in the first place. But I think that there's more to it than just, we did it for story reasons. Everything had to converge on Jakku, and Finn too. So that is another question, because I have a lot. I mean, my channel has all the Finn fans, so everyone is like Finn Rey. Right. If and your video went into John Boyega's comment that Rey and Finn are just friends, and I remember, Boyega saying that relationship is not going to turn out how people think. So what are your thoughts on? I mean, are they going to be strictly platonic? Is Rey going to turn to the dark side, and Finn's going to have to redeem her? Or that happened to Bastila too.
Yeah, I love Finn, but I would say there's a solid 0% chance that he'll end up with Rey, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that he'll probably end up with Rose. I mean, we don't know anything about her, but like that makes sense. But I feel like there's pretty much a 0% chance that he'll end up with Rey. Like John Boyega said, that Rey and I were just friends. He said that multiple times in multiple interviews. Even at the very beginning of my Reylo video, how they talk about how there is a romance in The Force Awakens, and John Boyega says his character has no romance, but Rey does, right? So who could that subtle romance and those hints be? It's obviously not with Finn, because John Boyega said Finn has no romance in The Force Awakens. And then on top of that, Star Wars tweeted, who are your favorite, or it was like a best friends day or something, like best friends in Star Wars. And it was like friends, and Rey and Finn were one of the two pairings, along with like Han Solo and Chewbacca and some other characters. So I feel like that was like a really big sign by Star Wars to say, like, look, they're friends. You know what I mean? Like, otherwise they would have put Finn and Poe, because Finn and Poe are they're the quintessential bros. They're the best friends. Like they're besties. It's not Finn and Rey, it's Finn and Poe. But they purposely didn't put Finn and Poe. They put Finn and Rey to really send a message that they're just friends. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, I can see Rose and Finn eventually. The next video I'm going to do is about the article on Rose and Finn and their adventure on Canto Bight. And the way, I mean, as Anthony Bresnikan wrote it up that, and John Boyega said it at, I think, D23 weekend, or he might say it Celebrations, that Finn comes out of this and he's a big deal. Yeah, I'm the guy that got chopped down by Kylo, but I went toe to toe with him, and I managed to injure him. And people are going to be looking up to Finn, and when Rose meets him, she's going to be completely fangirling over this guy. So I can see, oh, you're and I'm a grease monkey, and you're talking to me, and
oh my God.
And their relationship is said their story's supposed to mirror Rey and Luke's, because Finn is like, I want to get the hell out of here. I want to go find Rey and leave. So maybe, Finn might have some feelings for Rey, and then his adventure with Rose might change that, and we'll see.
And I seriously just got goosebumps when you started explaining that. That makes so much sense, because he's like, yeah, he is a big deal now in the eyes of everybody else. And I could definitely see that would be like a really funny part of the movie too, like everybody looking up to him, and he's like, taking it in. He's like all proud of himself, but he knows that, it was a lot of luck too, but he doesn't really want to say that out loud. And yeah, I could see, Rose and other people like looking up to him. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. He's gonna have an interesting storyline, and I know there's gonna be a lot of action. John Boyega, being the actor he is, he's gonna interject his personality into the character, so it'll be funny, but not Jar Jar Binks funny. And I'm really hoping to see him fight Phasma and the Praetorian Guard, even though I think. I have a feeling that somehow Rey's going to end up fighting them. She's going to fight multiple people, just from what I've seen her training, in that behind the scenes video we saw, the trailer.
Yeah, it's hard to say who. She could be fighting the guards, or she could be fighting the Knights of Ren. The Knights of Ren could be the guards, like, but yeah. So who knows?
That's something we don't know a lot about. Is do you think the Knights of Ren are gonna appear in 8?
Yeah, I think so. It would just be too much of a missed opportunity, and like I don't see how they could build up the Knights of Ren like that and then not show them off, or even like build them up like that and then just like have them change into Snoke's guards. I don't think so. So
yeah, I mean, because we got all this stuff about the 7. There were these warriors that were at one time called the 7 that were supposed to have been in the original version of the Force Back Vision, when it was about Maz stealing the lightsaber either from Kylo Ren or a member of the Knights of Ren. And then actually it was when you did your video and I went back and looked at Rey's vision in the junior novelization, it said, the 7. And I'm like, okay, so at one point in the script, the Knights of Ren were referred to as the 7, just like they were previously. And I'm like, why? Where are they? Like, where are they? We haven't seen them. Maybe that's a big secret they're keeping. They want to blow their load on everything. But I'm like, what happened to these guys? Everybody was wondering about them and talking about them. J.J. Abrams said, I want to do a spin-off movie on the Knights of Ren. And it's like, we haven't heard anything about these dudes. All we've seen is Kylo and the Praetorian Guards. And where are these guys?
Yeah.
There was one, and I don't. Most of the stuff that got leaked last summer, I don't believe most of it. But there was the one where the Knights of Ren go to Ahch-To with Kylo Ren, and Luke like takes all of them out, and then Kylo Ren executes them, and I'm like, that would be cool, but then it's like everybody got hyped up over these guys, and then we saw them for a half a second, and then they get killed in 8. Like, you just wasted an opportunity.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the thing that went through my head was that like it's so hard to say. Like we're all just with all these like leaks, we don't know what's true and what's not. I had a version of the movie in my head where Kylo basically defects from the First Order and is shot down on Ahch-To. And he lands there. He's not there to kill Luke and Rey. He's there kind of like for help because now the First Order is trying to kill him, right? And of course, they're not going to trust him at first. But he lands there. His ship explodes. The shot in the first trailer of The Last Jedi where there's fire behind him, and my idea was like that fire behind him is the burning ship that he crash landed on Ahch-To. And then he fights Rey and or Luke, but mostly self-defense because they're, thinking that he's there to kill him. And then he stays there for a while and they eventually trust him, and then they team up and Rey and Kylo fall in love. And then maybe then I could see the Knights of Ren coming to Ahch-To to kill them because they're coming to kill Kylo as well. But who knows, right? That's just one theory.
Yeah, that is an interesting one. Just following that thought pattern, what do you think it would take for Kylo Ren to defect?
Well, I think the catalyst to Kylo Ren's redemption arc is Rey. Just like I said in the first video, was the reason why Anakin turned to the dark side was for Padme, to save Padme. And I feel like that's the same reason why Kylo will turn back from the dark side to the light, is for Rey.
So to keep Snoke from getting to Rey? Possibly?
Well, one, he's like, I feel like he's already obsessed with her,
Yeah.
He's obsessed. He's very impressed by like her powers. Like he's like, bewildered, like he can't even like defend himself against her because he's so just like in awe of her powers and how much he's like infatuated with her. So I feel like he's already into her, and he's already kind of just like seeking to find her, and he even offered to train her, right?
Yeah.
And he didn't say we can train you or the dark side is powerful and you should learn the dark side. It says I can train you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he didn't say me and Snoke. Like I feel like if she would have said yes there, he would have like wanted to go out and teach her on his own and then be like a third party, you know, just those two together.
Yeah, he says you need a teacher. I can show you the ways of the Force. You know?
Yeah. And they were finding the Force together in that moment, right?
Yeah, I touched on that. Too. And what led me there was I said, you know, I started with this premise that I created that Kylo Ren, that Ben, before Kylo Ren, that Ben had a vision of like the next like great Jedi or something, and maybe he didn't know who it was. He didn't know it was Rey. It was just like he had a vision of a person who was going to be the next, who Rey ends up being. And then you start to hear about this girl, and she does these things, and then it's, are you really just a scavenger on Jakku? You know, like you know, I can sense your power. Are you really? Is this really the person that I had this vision about? Of course, we don't know, but I've been, and then you kind of touched on that, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, I definitely think that he's had a vision of Rey, just like she had a vision of him. Like that was pretty much her entire vision was about Kylo, right? Yeah. And I feel like he's had a very similar vision where he couldn't tell who it was. You know, like maybe it was in the rain, like in her vision, or she had a mask on, or he just saw like, or maybe he just heard voices, just like Rey heard voices of somebody who most people think is Kylo, like "come back, sweetheart," or whatever I'm really tired, but you know, whatever he said there. I'll come back for you, sweetheart. Right?
Yeah.
So I feel like he could have heard the same voices of her, you know, saying, "Where are you?"
Yeah. And then at the beginning of the vision where she's on Bespin, and there's the, you know, Luke and Vader having their duel, and the "No, Luke, I am your father," the big reveal. You know, there was supposed to have been a boy. Well, it's in one of the versions, I think the junior novel, there was a young boy that was in the corridor with her, and you know, we believe that it was supposed to have been Kylo Ren with Snoke in the vision. It makes you wonder, like, the fact that here's this point in the Star Wars story, the big reveal that Vader is Anakin, that he's Luke's father, and that Kylo Ren and Snoke would have been there, you know, maybe like doing the Bran Stark green seer thing, remote viewing something. But it's like interesting to me that that's where he appears in her vision, a place that he wasn't there physically at the time when it happened. But why would he have been there? And it kind of makes me wonder, like, was that the catalyst that brought everything down?
Yeah, I don't know. I when I first heard about it, I didn't really think much of like the location. I feel like the fact that they were technically, you know, in the hallways, you know, right behind where Luke and Vader were. I feel like I didn't really connect the two. It's just like she's just seeing them, you know, it's like a blended together vision. They're actually in like a cave, you know, 10 years ago somewhere else. They're not actually there, but who knows? Maybe there's a reason why they're there.
Yeah, it's not something when I first heard about where I thought about it, and even when I read it the first time, I didn't think much about it. Well, because it said a young boy, and I said, well, who would the boy be? And originally, I just thought I thought they were talking about Luke, and then I went back and read it again, and I'm like, who is that boy? And Stupendous Wave said it's Kylo Ren. And I'm really conservative with stuff like I'm like, until I have more to go on, I'm not going to say who it is. I'll say there was a boy in the hallway. I don't know who it is. But looking back after, like I rewatched your video, and then I went back and started looking. I'm like, huh. One of the editors said that at first they were gonna put a young boy in that hallway in that part when Rey's walking. Like, could it have been like symbolic or something that event is what just finally pushed him over the edge?
Right. And Snoke was also with the little boy.
Yeah.
So it's like, so I think that's what gives it away that it's Kylo's, because Snoke is looming over this little boy in a hallway, and Leia explained that it was Snoke who seduced Kylo to the dark side, and Snoke's been there since he was a child, slowly, corrupting his mind. So I feel like that is pretty good evidence that was supposed to be Snoke and young Ben Solo.
Now, do you think that Snoke had a relationship with the family, before everything happened?
Well, I just saw something yesterday. I don't know where it was from. Might have been Star Wars Connection or something, where they were explaining how Leia knew Snoke, but Han Solo didn't. Or at least Han Solo didn't. I mean, he knew of Snoke, but like how Han Solo didn't know that it was Snoke who turned Kylo to the dark side. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I did a video. I did a video on it in March, February or March.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
so yeah, I don't know. Like, they definitely have some type of relationship, because Snoke hated Han Solo, right? So why did he hate Han Solo so much? I don't know. And it's weird. He hates Han Solo so much, and yet Han Solo doesn't even know that Snoke was the one who turned Kylo to the dark side. That's a little weird.
Yeah. Well, I guess we could chalk it up to Leia's the Force sensitive one, but I don't. They never really made it clear how they sense the Force in people and how strong it is and whatnot. But I'm guessing at some point Leia knew, or maybe she didn't. Maybe she didn't know either until she started really looking into the First Order, and then knew that Snoke was leading the First Order. There's so much space to, maybe they had a relationship with Snoke, and then as time went on, yes, we knew this guy Snoke. He was, this rich, wealthy guy, and I'm a senator, and he was always interested in hanging out with the family. And then, Snoke, he's in charge of the First Order after, everything goes down after Bloodline, and she starts the Resistance and really investigating the First Order. Because I guess at this point in the Poe Dameron comic book, they're like trying to dig up stuff on Snoke. So, maybe after the events in Bloodline, that 5-year gap is when she finally put 2 and 2 together, and Han just never... He checked out and just never knew. I don't know. That's all guessing on my part. Yeah, it's I would agree with with what you said, though, is that Leia possibly had a connection with Snoke, and Han just never, he was oblivious to it, or just never knew.
Right. So I have a couple of things that I can like in my part 2 of my Reylo video series, I can tell you a couple things from it.
All right.
Kind of connect the dots a little bit. So, okay, because you asked like why Rey and Kylo Ren might fall in love in the future, or like what was your specific question?
Well, my thing is really my only big hang up is that it feels too much like Twilight. Because I don't know Twilight that well, but I know like Edward. I guess he could like read people's or sense people's thoughts or something. But with Bella, he could not read her at all. And it's like, well, here Kylo can rip thoughts out of people's heads, and then when he tries to do it with Rey, she turns around and does it back to him. So it's like like you said, a fascination with her power, her ability. They're alike. They're very much alike. She's like the mirror of him to him. They're both abandoned, but for different reasons. Maybe her parents abandoned her out of love, and well, I think his parents abandoned him out of love too, but it was, not the same way. Rey's parents possibly fleeing for their lives and trying to save her, and them, they're trying to, they love him and they think they're doing what's best for him, but it's not necessarily what he wants. So there's some similarities. It just, I don't know. I guess, see, when we say look at them as being like Revan and Bastila, it makes sense, and that's something I've been saying, But my thing is, right now she wants to kill him, and I'm like, how do they go? How does she fall in love with Kylo Ren when she wants to kill him right now?
Well, I don't think that she wants to kill him. I think that the only reason she even injured him was 100% because of the dark side. When they were fighting, I mean, it's very clear, especially in the novel, that like the dark side like took over her in that moment. It even said that she got her power from the same well as Ren, her rage, right? So she had like rage, and then once she slashed his face, even in the movie you can see her like towering over him, like showing her teeth, and then it says with one vicious strike she could kill him right now. And but she realized that it was all the dark side in her, that it wasn't really her. She didn't really hate Kylo. She understands Kylo a little bit already. She understands that he's afraid that he'll never be as strong as Darth Vader, etc., right? She didn't really want to do this. It was the dark side anger taking over her, and she chose not to kill him. They didn't make it as clear in the movie, but she could have killed him, and she chose not to.
Right.
So why would she then kill him the next time? It doesn't, like, if you don't kill somebody the first time, you're not going to kill him the next time unless there's another reason to, right? So I don't think that she does. I don't think she wants to kill him at all. And there is a tiny little shot, which I didn't include in my Reylo video, of right before Rey goes into the Millennium Falcon, right after leaving, she does turn around and like kind of look back over her shoulder. It's a little split second, but if you kind of do it in slow motion, it really does look like she's like almost like worried for Kylo / like thinking about what just happened, She's like I hope, like kind of like hoping that he's okay / like wondering what's going to happen, like just thinking about Kylo, basically like laying there in the forest. So and there's the conversation that she has with Leia that wasn't in the movie. I think it's in the junior novel. It's either in the junior novel or Rey's story. I think it's Rey's story now that I'm really thinking about it, where as she's getting ready to leave and board the Falcon with Chewie and R2, Leia says, I could have become a Jedi. And then they kind of express some thoughts because Rey is afraid that she'll fall to the dark side the same way Kylo did. And, Leia's basically saying, don't worry. What happened to my son is not going to happen to you. And so, when you pointed out there might be some kind of compassion or she might feel sorry for him, I thought about that line. So, I'm slowly, I'm kind of coming over to, I can see how it's possible that could happen. For me, I'm open to the story. I'm like, wherever y'all go with the story, I'm going to comment on whatever happens. It's interesting. I'll say that much. That they would find some kind of connection. But do you think that would be what redeems Kylo and brings him back to the light? Well, I think it's very similar. What's about to happen is almost identical to what happened in The Lion King 2. This type of theme. Not that they copied The Lion King 2 at all, but like the same theme that happened in The Lion King 2. So in The Lion King 2, the son of Scar, named Kovu, I mean, he's basically a bad character at the beginning because his mother, the wife basically of Scar, teaches him to be evil and teaches him to try to get revenge on Simba, almost like Snoke tries to get Kylo to get revenge on Luke and Han Solo and the good light side. And then they'd have like this little plan to like infiltrate Simba's pride, and he's there to actually like kill Simba, but he's like pretending to be on a good guy, and how he's like he was exiled by the Dark Pride or what are the Badlands or whatever it's called. Basically, okay, but the entire movie is about them learning to trust Kovu because they know that he's just like his father. He's just like Scar. He's this evil character. You know, you can't be with Nala. You know, you have some evil plan, and slowly Kovu actually starts to become a good character and really sympathize and whatnot, and fall in love with Nala and whatnot. And the entire movie is just them trying to learn how to trust him again, right? And eventually he does turn good, and it's similar to Kylo. So I think Kylo is most of the movie is going to be about everybody trying to trust him after he's really trying to convince them that he's turned, you know, that the First Order's trying to kill him too. Like, he has nowhere to go. Like, Luke, you have to trust me, you know, and Luke's not going to want to trust him. Finn is not going to fucking trust him. I think Finn's going to be the person who least amount trust him, right? I think Finn is going to be pissed off at Rey once he finds out that Rey does trust Kylo, because he's not going to be there. The only person who's going to trust and really understand Kylo is going to be Rey, and that's what's going to, in my head, right? And that's what's going to bring them together. And then Luke is going to start trusting him a little bit, but that's going to be and then Finn, he's going to come back and not see any of this, not see the progression. He's just going to see Rey and Kylo in the same room, not killing each other, and he's going to be furious. Like, what are you doing? You know? So I feel like so what redeems him? I don't know if there's going to be an actual act that redeems him. I feel like it's mostly going to be him trying to get the acceptance of everybody, including the audience, right? Yeah.
Well, if he were to come to Ahch-To and be part of whatever's going on with Luke and Rey, possibly rebuilding the Jedi Order or some new order, because there's got to be some kind of order of Force users moving forward if they're gonna keep moving the story forward. My prediction is Act 3 is going to happen on Crate. Everyone's going to end up on Crate. So if that were to happen, then do you see a big reunion with Ben and his mother, with Leia? I mean, that could be the thing that if that's where we're going, that would be the thing that will ultimately push him back into the light, because she's going to trust him. She believes there's still good in him.
Yeah. And she would want him to turn to the light. Unlike a lot of these people who hate Kylo or whatever. It's like, people don't really understand that the entire point of The Force Awakens and this new trilogy is, and same with the original trilogy, was to learn to understand that good people can go down a dark path. You know? That Anakin was once a good person, and Luke chose not to kill Darth Vader because even though Darth Vader killed thousands of people, he still knew that there was still good in him. And the same thing with Kylo is happening. So, and of course, like, and to think that like we should just want revenge on him because he killed Han Solo, like, even Han Solo forgave him. In the novel, it says Han Solo forgave his son for what he had done and hoped that he would forgive him in return. So of course Leia's not going to want Kylo killed. Leia's not going to want her own child killed. That's ridiculous. Right. So of course, yeah, she's going to trust him. I agree.
Yeah. I kind of wish they would stretch it out though. I want 6 movies with Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Not all of them is him is a good, or they could have an interesting thing where he has this ongoing struggle with the light and the dark, just this pull within himself. That would be something we haven't really seen before. We haven't seen at all.
Yeah, what I actually think is going to happen, especially with all the pictures and stuff we're seeing with Kylo, like every picture we've seen, it's him vulnerable, sad, defeated, mask off. Like he, in pretty much all those pictures, I feel like he's either in the middle or already turned back to the light. Not like fully back to the light, but you know what I mean. Like he's not fully evil in any of those pictures, in my opinion. He's like kind of figuring himself out, and that is really soon. It's like, what's this going to happen halfway through the movie? And I think that is what's going to happen. I think he's going to turn back to the light in The Last Jedi, and I think Rey is going to be the one that struggles with the dark side throughout the latter half of The Last Jedi and 9. Mm-hmm. And just like you said, which I want to say in a video, we actually haven't seen any characters really struggle with the dark side. We've only seen glimpses of it where like Luke didn't really struggle with the dark side. It was like 15 minutes where he was like, a little bit of rage here and there, but he stopped himself. He was not really going to the dark side ever. Anakin turned to the dark side. There was no struggle. He just turned. It was pretty quick. Kylo turned, and now he's going to turn back. Rey, on the other hand, could be the first character that really struggles. She had it in The Force Awakens. Somebody in her head said, kill him, and it was probably Snoke, or maybe Palpatine, but it was probably Snoke saying to kill Kylo Ren. So yeah, I think that's going to be the struggle, is Rey really trying to not turn to the dark side. So, but it could be Kylo too, but I really think he's just going to switch back fairly quickly, and it's going to be Rey. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that there are other Force wielders within the First Order?
I didn't think so, no. Although, what I wanted to say about Hux, I posted this on Twitter. Oh my god, what's his name? From The Incredibles? What's the bad guy from Incredibles?
Oh man, I haven't seen. I have that movie on my phone. I haven't seen it in years.
It's a great movie, though.
Yeah.
It's Syndrome.
Yeah.
I have this kind of vision that Hux is almost like a Syndrome-like character, because Syndrome in The Incredibles has no special powers. Mm-hmm. Just like The Incredibles. And he's actually he's really jealous of them and whatnot. But I feel like Hux could be a really, really good evil character, because I hope and I think he has no Force abilities, but he doesn't need them. He's still going to become extremely powerful just using technology, just like Syndrome. Syndrome was stronger than the Incredibles. He defeated all the Incredibles with technology, and I could just like Hux destroyed entire planets with the Starkiller base.
Yeah.
So, and then maybe Phasma has some. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really think anybody else has any Force abilities in the First Order.
Yeah. I hope they do more with Hux. I mean, he's got his mother was his father's mistress. His father was abusive to him, and then advice. A Grand Admiral Ray Sloan stepped in and basically, said, if you touch your son again, I'm going to kill you. And I have a feeling she became his surrogate mother. So he's like, he bleeds the First Order. He's supposed to be this tactical genius. I think that they could and should do more with him. It actually, if they were going to do more movies and they set Hux up to be this Thrawn type character, I would be cool with that, since you've gone into his backstory and we know where he came from. They gone so far as to, we know about his dad, even though it was weak how they introduced his dad in a book for kids that almost no one read. But we've got everything laid out, how he came to be, and then here he is in the aftermath, and then we see him, years later as an adult, and there's what happened to him? How did he get there? Where's Ray Sloan? What happened to her? So I think Thrux, because I was about to say Thrawn and Hux. I'm gonna start that hashtag Thrux. I think they should do more with Hux. He could be an interesting villain. Of course, we got to find out who the hell Snoke is, what he's doing.
Personally, I think Hux could be the best villain. I think he could be if they did this syndrome-like character, or not even also like Thrawn and whatnot. Like even if Snoke died in The Last Jedi, which I don't think is gonna happen, but even if he did and Hux became the main villain, I'd be perfectly okay with that, because Hux could be a scary villain, because he's already scary. That speech, and then he's not even in power. Imagine if he had all the power himself. So yeah, that was very Hitler-esque. He is a believer in the First Order. That's what he bleeds. That's all he knows. And Kylo hates him too. Snoke. So it'd be a perfect fight, seeing Kylo get revenge almost.
Yeah, he's not into the whole mystical aspect of the First Order at all. Do you think that Kylo Ren will be the person who takes out Snoke? I think that Kylo's definitely turning back to the light, and I think he's going to fight Snoke. But I don't know who will kill Snoke. I have no idea, but I think he'll definitely be helping fighting Snoke. It could be it's like a 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Luke, Rey, or Kylo kill him. If we go with this, Rey is the one that's going to struggle with the dark side.
Yeah, I know.
It could be she and Kylo Ren, and she kills him.
Yeah, who knows?
I guess this because I don't want to keep you on too long. I know you kind of
no. I'm good. Tired. I'm good. However you want to go. I could go for 2 more hours. So it's up to you.
Could you see if Finn turns out to be Force sensitive? Could you see him becoming Rey's kind of best friend-a-wan? not fully a Padawan, best friend, but she end up having to teach him the ways of the Force.
Not really. It could happen, but I would. Originally, I was leaning towards Maz Kanata teaching him. And we're getting deep into speculation, but I could see Finn and Rey fighting, actually.
Yeah.
When he's angry that she's with Kylo, and that they're in, basically a relationship. On top of that, Rey is now almost on the dark side, and she's kind of still thinking about it. And then Finn, he's not even listening to any. He won't listen to a word they say. He's like, "You're a traitor. You're a traitor." And then he'll fight Rey. I don't think either of them will be killed or anything, but yeah. So I don't really see Rey teaching. I think they'll eventually be friends again, because I think Rey will turn back to the light if she does go a little bit to the dark. So they will always be friends, but yeah.
Yeah. If Maz were to train Finn, and I mean, he doesn't, because now they've established Chirrut Imwe, it's like, it doesn't matter how strong you are with the Force, anybody can learn meditation and tap into the Force on some level. But because Maz wears the same colors as the Guardians of the Wills and the members of the Church of the Force, that would like initiate Finn into a different part of the Force that we've been introduced to in Rogue One and in The Force Awakens, kind of, but haven't really seen. That would be interesting, if he were to, become her disciple or pupil or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for originally.
Yeah.
I was hoping that would be like a main part of The Last Jedi, but it doesn't look like it'll be a main part if it does happen. But yeah, I'd like that.
Do you think we're going to see a third faction? Like there's whoever the flavor of the month dark side is, and then the Jedi, and then this third faction that we don't know if it'll be light, dark, or something in between? Or
yeah, and I think it's going to be Rey and Kylo Ren. I think that they are going to kind of start going out on their own. So what I think is basically the way that the Force will be balanced once and for all is not the destruction of the Sith, not the destruction of the Jedi, and not the Sith and the Jedi living together and fighting, but becoming one, almost like a gray Jedi, but I don't like that term, but becoming one entity, one Force user that uses equal sides, dark and light. And I think that's the entire point of this trilogy as well, is that just like you said before, they perfectly mirror each other, Rey and Kylo, just like yin and yang, which is a huge chapter in part 2 of my Reylo video. And that's it. They're yin and yang, and they become one, because yin and yang, or yin yang, or however you want to say it, it's one circle. It's one being combined together, So
yeah, complementary.
Yeah. Exactly, and they do complement each other perfectly.
Yeah, that would be cool. So in that case, do you see the Jedi ending with Luke?
Yeah. But it's weird because Luke is starting to figure it out, right? He knows that the Jedi have to end. And so, yeah, I do think that the last Jedi will be Luke, and Luke will die. And I think Luke will die with a self-sacrifice. And because he knows that the Jedi have to die. And he's older and whatnot. So yeah, I think Luke will do a self-sacrifice. He is the last Jedi. Snoke and all of the First Order, except like maybe Phasma will live or something, will die. And then Rey, Kylo, and Finn, and maybe Phasma, or I don't know, whoever else, Maz, become the new Force users that are neither Jedi nor Sith, but they're almost like gray Jedi, but that implies that they're Jedi. Gray Jedi, you know what I mean? Like they're not Jedi. Yeah. They use equal sides, dark and light.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the way the Church of the Force was presented, is that, you have all these people who follow Jedi teachings and they want to see the return of the Jedi. But then when you get to the Guardians of the Wills in Rogue One, it's like we don't believe anyone can know all of the Force. We study all of it. We study all of it, and we don't shy away from any part. Right? The dark side is part of life, just like the light side is part of life. There's when Chirrut is talking about Cassian, and he's like, the dark side is strongest around a person when they're about to kill. And it's like, well, killing is part of life. So if you're watching in nature, this lion is chasing a gazelle for his dinner, the dark side's going to be around it, because it's like, well, I got to kill this thing to eat it, because that's what lions do. So I can see that. I guess we have some people that have this fascination with the gray, and I'm like, that's not really gray. It's just, sometimes your excess yin leads to excess yang. So if you're very into the dark side and you're seeing the totality of the force, then you can swing, the pendulum will swing back to the light, just like we saw with Vader, or possibly with Kylo Ren, if he does return back to the light. It's not like, oh, I'm light side 4. Like, the Force is not a video game like it is in all the Star Wars video games. That's not how the Force works.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what? Okay, did you see a picture? Like, I know there was always like fan pictures of like a BB-8, a black and red BB-8, right?
Yeah.
Was there like a canon like photo from The Last Jedi or something that came out, or was that just another fan art?
There's the First Order has their own BB-8 units.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
Yeah, we'll see those in there's been Lego toys that have come out. I don't know if I haven't seen any pictures from the movie, but there will be. I'm imagining they're going to spray paint BB-8 black when Finn and Rose infiltrate the First Order, because I think BB-8 is going to be with them. So,
well,
yeah, they're
with Jenny Nicholson. She made a parody. Sound like a parody, like a theory that Kylo Ren built BB-8, and that BB-8 is the 8th Knight of Ren, and that the Knights of Ren were all robots built by Kylo Ren as well. The 7, and then the 8th one is BB-8. So I don't think that they're all robots and whatnot, but I think it'd be really cool and would make some sense if BB-8 was built by Kylo Ren when he was Ben Solo, and when he was with Han Solo, like learning how to fly, didn't want to become a Jedi, just wanted to fly around and build robots like BB-8, just like his grandfather built C-3PO. So yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be that'd be interesting.
And he modeled just like C-3PO wasn't its own design. C-3PO was just another. He was just like all the other droids or whatever, right? Except gold, I guess, or whatever. He was just slightly different. So I feel like that's the same thing with BB-8. BB-8 was modeled after maybe after the dark side BB-8s, or the First Order BB-8s, but he made it different and almost like gave it free will or something, something like that.
Yeah, now like want to go back and look at Before the Awakening, because I'm not sure if Poe had BB-8 when he was still with the New Republic military. I'm thinking maybe he didn't get BB-8 until he joined the Resistance, which would have meant that BB-8 was with Leia.
Which, yeah, that'd be coincidental.
yeah, just like, Anakin built C-3PO, and then Padme had him, and Ben builds BB-8, and his mom has him, or her. I can't remember if BB-8's a boy or a girl.
But yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that something. I think I saw that video that Jenny Nicholson did.
Really good video. One of my favorite videos from her.
Yeah, she really took off. She made one video that went viral, and now she's on a talk show or something.
Yeah, it's really good too. I don't watch like every episode, but they're really funny because she's funny.
Yeah. She must be in LA. LA is a good place to be if you're a YouTube creator.
Yeah, until North Korea bombs it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, what?
No, I just said,
I've been planning to move to LA. I live in Toronto. I was planning to move to LA November 1st. I've been telling like every person I meet for the past like 4 months that. And now I'm a little nervous because all this North Korea stuff. It'll probably be fine, but you know, it makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see with these two guys, you know, if they're just talking a bunch of smack to each other. There's a creator space in Toronto, isn't there?
Yeah, but Canada's cold.
Yeah, I don't do cold weather.
It's really nice during the summer. It's actually like almost hotter than the United States during the summer. But during the winter, it's no thank you.
Yeah.
It's very cold.
Yeah. So do you want to go to LA to do, you know, do the YouTube thing, or you just want to be out in that area, or?
Yeah. So like just like Joe Rogan has his the Joe Rogan Experience, his most popular podcast in the world, I think. So he does like 3 hour, 4 hour sometimes interviews, video interviews with just people, random like scientists and whatever, bodybuilders and whatever.
Right.
So I want to do a similar thing, except one, I want to just do that, talk to just people I think are cool, talk about whatever topics I think are interesting, but also I want to do an 8-hour podcast where a person comes on, usually a famous person, which all live in LA, most of them, and they basically like they tell their entire life story from birth up until now, like everything. If you were abused as a child, like deep dark secrets, your entire life story. That's like the first 4 hours. And then the second 4 hours is like what you want to do for humanity, what you're like, what you want people to remember when you die. Like people will watch this podcast after you've passed away. And what are your like words for humanity, you know? So like I want to do that. And I feel like the best place to do that is in LA, just like Joe Rogan, because you know, if I want to have people on my podcast, I'm already in LA, right? So
right. Yeah, somewhere accessible, well, easily accessible, where you know you're gonna have the highest concentration of stars. Yeah, that's cool. And then you know, on your YouTube channel, you said, and I've seen you mention this on Twitter, you know, that you'd like to move into other kinds of fan speculation and stuff outside of Star Wars.
Yeah. So, my first video, like I actually have, I just checked, I have 95 privated videos and I have 9 public videos. So, none of my videos are Star Wars related, except for the Darth Jar Jar video, which I made because the theory was going viral on Reddit, and it was like within the first 24 hours, and I knew somebody needs to make the video because not everybody's going to want to read. So I made that, it went viral, and then I just kept making Star Wars videos because they're kind of popular. So, but it was never really the plan. I like Star Wars, it's awesome, and I really like Reylo a lot and The Last Jedi, but well, one, it's not gonna last. Like I don't make videos about anything other than The Last Jedi, The Force Awakens, and then I'll probably make videos about 9.
Yeah.
But after that, I don't like. There's probably nothing for me. You know, I don't want to make like the top 10 lightsabers. You know, that's not my kind of thing. You know, so. But yeah, so what I want to do with my channel, my favorite YouTube channel is Vsauce, and I want to do almost just think of like a blend between my theory like videos and like Vsauce, if you've seen Vsauce, where I just tackle like a really interesting topic and I do like a whole theory. But basically I want 50% of my channel to be about veganism. And the other 50% just random topics like STI or STD stigmatization. Oh my god, I can't say the word, but
Stigma.
Stigma. There we go. STI stigma. Like ethics, artificial intelligence, like killing off humanity, which will happen if we don't stop it. Age of consent. Like right now, I would like to talk about the North Korea and United States, like, you know, just like random interesting topics like that. So
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, yeah, that would touch on a lot of topics that are popular. I know because like I came from doing fitness videos, and like Elliot Hulse was like, dude, you got to stop making just these kettlebell workout videos. Nobody's going to watch you. And he started pushing me to start talking about like meditation, spirituality, stuff that I studied in school, which eventually led to Star Wars. Because I'd always say, oh, this is like when Luke Skywalker did blah, blah, blah. And the people watching were like, I don't know anything about Star Wars, Prince. So that's how I ended up doing Star Wars videos. And now it's like, you know what, this is fun, but I'm a lot older than what people think I am, and I don't want to be 45 talking about Star Wars on YouTube. If I'm making Star Wars videos, I want to be like Chris Perillo, where I have kids and it's like I'm taking them to the store to buy Star Wars toys for the kids or something,
Yeah.
But like when I watched Star Wars, it made me want to study martial arts and get into meditation, and basically I wanted to be Luke Skywalker. And so for me, it's like I want to talk about that stuff. I want to talk about, let's get into meditation. Let's talk about, nutrition, whatnot. So, I feel I'm really interested in seeing you develop your channel and all of that. And I understand about the unlisted videos. I had like 50 videos up when I did my first Force Awakens video. And I took Tim Schmoyer's video creators or video labs, whatever his big course is. It's like 3 months long. And I privated all of those videos. And it made me sick because all these people started binge watching my channel when I first started. And I had like 10 videos. And they're like, dude, I watched all your videos, make more. And I'm like, well, I have more, but I don't know if you want to watch them.
Yeah.
That stuff has nothing to do with Star Wars. I was like standing in a Jedi robe, like doing Bible study, which is a whole other. That whole me dressing up as a Jedi started out as a joke with some of my friends because nobody was watching me. I was like, oh, I'm gonna wear a Jedi robe and do like this Star Wars themed sermon or something. People took it very, like, even my thumbnail art with me wearing a Jedi robe, like I took that picture because a friend of mine she that I knew from seminary, she did a Star Wars themed wedding, and I said, how come they didn't ask me to do it? At least I have a Jedi robe. And I took a picture and sent it to her on Facebook, and that ended up being my display picture. So yeah, I feel you. You cover one thing, a whole lot of people start watching it, and it's like, well, like I say, I'd do some more.
Yeah. And I have 10 videos written down that I want to make before The Last Jedi comes out. But I actually am planning on making like 2 different like street interview kind of vegan videos like this week. So I might be uploading those to my main channel right after I upload Reylo Part 2. And then, so like it's going to be soon that I start uploading non-Star Wars videos, but I still have these other 10 that I'm still uploading though.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing those. How long have you been vegan?
A year and a half.
Nice. Yeah, I went like cold turkey vegan, in 2015. Because I had a lot of friends who were like, what was your decision to go vegan? Like, how did that whole process happen?
Well, so I'm 25. So my entire life, I ate just like a regular person. I ate McDonald's sometimes literally every single day. And I never even like really acknowledged that vegans and vegetarians exist, except for like when I was a kid, I saw the vegetarian episode with like on The Simpsons with Lisa, and that was like pretty much it. But I was watching these YouTubers named the Hodge twins.
Oh yeah.
I thought you would know about them. A lot of people don't, but yeah, even though they do have a lot of subscribers. So yeah, they're these two bodybuilders, and they saw a video about the mistreatment of pigs in slaughterhouses, which, I mean, just the fact that they're getting killed is mistreatment, but also like them getting like tortured and beaten by these people, right? So they decided right then and there that they were going vegetarian. I was like, whoa, wait, what? Normal people? Like just normal people can go vegetarian? That doesn't make, like, I didn't even think about that. Like, just two people I watch on YouTube all the time, they're like, they just saw a video and boom, they're actually making a change in their life, right? So I started to look into it, and I saw Vegan Gains video on the Hodge twins. The Hodge twins works for the fitness industry or whatever. And then I saw Cowspiracy, which absolutely blew my mind. Like, my entire life was like turned upside down. Like, my mind was blown after seeing Cowspiracy. But yeah, so I went vegetarian like that week, and then kind of just went vegan. The Hodge twins went back to eating meat, but they never went vegan though. But yeah, so then I went vegan. That was like right after the Darth Jar Jar video, right? That was like January basically of 2016. And yeah, that's it. And since then I've done like unbelievable amounts of research and stuff, and yeah, so that's how I started.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't do any research. I mean, coming from the fitness field, well, I got introduced to vegetarianism when I was in the military, and I had a friend, and I knew that she was like, her family were vegetarians. I would always make fun of her. I feel terrible looking back because we went out on a date, and I like purposefully, I was like ordered like meat, everything, meat in my salad, hamburger, meat in my fries. And now I'm like, man, I feel like an asshole for doing that. Yeah. And I used to tell her, I was like, if we ever start dating, I'm not going vegan, or I'm not becoming a vegetarian, this and that. And I didn't know the difference between vegans and vegetarians. I'd always give her stuff about that. And now I'm like, man, I'm like more hardcore than she is. And she laughs at me now. We're still pretty good friends. But when I became a personal trainer, I started following this guy, Mike Mahler, who if you see me on Twitter, I'm always like, it's cool now that like somebody I looked up to, because of the access that we have now on the internet, that I joke with this guy back and forth all the time, online. But I got one of his kettlebell DVDs, and he had like this talk at the end on nutrition and hormone optimization, and he was like, yeah, I'm a vegan, and people don't think vegans can get enough protein. And he's a big dude, so it's strong too. And it's like, what? It's like, you don't eat meat and you're picking up the heavy kettlebells and like pressing them like they're nothing. I was like, what? And so that like piqued my interest, but it still took a few years. And then when I met one of my kettlebell teachers, Ken Blackburn, who was very good friends with Mike. Ken is Ken looks like Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he's does lots of jiu-jitsu and box, and he's like very mobile, does like the yoga pose where you like balance on a toe or something crazy like that. And Ken was like, yeah, well, I'm what is the vegans that, or the vegetarians that eat eggs and drink milk? Lovo.
Yeah, ovo-lacto.
Ovo-lacto. Yeah. And I was like, holy crap, man! Like Ken is strong, and well, he's my kettlebell teacher. So, and he's friends with Mike, and then so Mike was like my gateway drug, because then Mike has a podcast, the Live Life Aggressively show with Mike and Sincere Hogan, and they have like all these vegan like MMA athletes and strength coaches, and so then I'm like, man, there's like all these badass people who are vegans.
Yeah.
And then when Scott Shetler, who's a strength coach down in Atlanta, he came out with a book called Eat Plants, Lift Iron with Stickman from what's the rap? Dead Prez. He's his trainer.
Was that a novel or a book or?
Yeah, it's a book. Scott or Stickman and Scott, they have it on a website. I can't think.
That's
of the
a cool
name of the
title.
website.
I like that title.
Yeah, it's called Eat Plants, Lift Iron. Stick wanted to do this project where he wanted to put on 20 pounds of muscle, I think for a music video, and he wanted to do it without any protein powders, no supplements, just all weight training and diet. And he actually put on more than 20 pounds, and he had to cut some of the weight, and he still managed to put on 20 pounds just of muscle on a plant-based diet. So it's got like his workout in it. His wife is a vegan nutritionist, so she did all the recipes and everything. I had the book somewhere. I forgot where I put it, but that's how I went vegan, like cold turkey. I got the book. I started doing the workout. I didn't do any of the recipes. I was eating like peanut butter all the time.
Yeah.
And just, cooking frozen vegetables, and but it was great, man. And then I met some other friends that have their I think they call it Evolving Alpha, their workout and cookbooks and everything, and it's been great. A lot of times, I've caught flack from people on YouTube, and one guy was like, "Oh, I always knew you were a faggot," and I'm like, how come vegans have to be gay? I mean, first off, there's nothing wrong with anyone's choice as far as sexual preference, but what does sexual preference have to do with with what they eat? And for the people listening, for the guys listening, if you want to know the fastest way to get attention from girls, from women on social media, get on Instagram and start posting vegan food pictures. You will have more likes from more women than you know what to do with.
Yeah.
I mean, if I want to get in a long distance relationship, all I have to do is go on a vegan Facebook group, and I will find somebody that will, want to talk. One of the groups I'm in, I'm gonna quit rambling after this, but I'm gonna say this. One of the groups I'm in, one of my friends, she was in Phoenix, and she met a guy in the UK, and she's always had this dream of like going to live in London. It's crazy. You live somewhere where it never rains, and you want to go somewhere where it rains all the time and it's cold and foggy. So, it's like opposites attract, literally. So she ended up meeting this guy in one of these vegan Facebook groups, and now they're engaged, and she's off in London. I'm kind of afraid because she never gets on Facebook anymore. She's been there for 3 months now, and she like never posts anymore. So as long as she's happy and it works out, hopefully he didn't say, I'm not really vegan, I eat people.
Yeah, there was a little experiment where it was actually PETA that did it, but not that where they made a Tinder profile, the same person pretending to be a meat eater and pretending to be a vegan. I don't know if he was a vegan or a meat eater or not, but he was just the same guy, smiling in both pictures. One was like on the beach like fishing, and then on a beach like eating a watermelon, or like he had a vegan shirt on in the grocery store holding bacon or holding a watermelon, stuff like that. And you got twice as many likes on Tinder, double as many matches on the vegan profile. Yeah, because just think about it logically. Like women like like what's like the number one thing that attracts women? It's like guys with dogs and guys with babies, right?
Yep.
A caring person who cares for helpless dogs and babies and animals, you know, that like it's a fatherly type of character, a responsible person. That's what women are into, you know, not a reckless person who doesn't give a shit about anybody but themselves. So that's, I feel like that's kind of the mentality, kind of, you know. Yeah.
Then there's the whole, you know, the typical date, dinner and a movie. You know, if you're a vegan, you probably don't want to go to a steakhouse. You probably don't want to go to Rib Shack, because I'm here in Nashville, so it's like, oh, you brought me to a Rib Shack. I can't eat anything but corn on the cob and rolls
with no butter.
Yeah. So that makes sense. You don't have to have that awkward conversation. I don't eat meat. Why? Or we can't go eat at some of these restaurants you might want to go to. What was your idea for the next vegan video you're planning to do next again?
Yeah, so there's I've been trying to work it out. I was supposed to film it last weekend, but I'm just, because, you know, with me, like, I'm very, very, very focused on making viral videos, you know? Mm-hmm. That's all I care about almost, because, like, that's just what I'm into. So if I make a vegan video, I want it to go viral. It's just like, that's just my thing. That's what I want to do. So there has to be some type of hook, something that really gets it, like, you know, makes it unique. So there's this really cool YouTube channel called Earthling Ed. He makes really good videos. They don't really go, some of them go viral on Facebook, but basically he just like talks to people on the street and just asks them questions and about whether it's ethical to kill animals, you know, why is it ethical to kill a pig rather than a dog, etc. If you saw somebody killing a pig, would you stop them? And if you would stop them, which everybody says yes, then would you then eat that same pig after it's dead? Doesn't make sense, right? But he just asks them questions. So I want to do something like that, but I feel like there's got to be some hook, you know? So I'm trying to work with it. Like but the other video is similar to like a BuzzFeed kind of video. So I put an ad on Kijiji, which is like Craigslist, but better and in Canada. Where a lot of people have responded, so I'm actually going to be doing it. So I'm going to have some people like do a little interview beforehand on a table with a green background or blue background or whatever, just talking about like who are not vegan, just regular people who've, you know, and ask them like what they've heard about it, what, you know, etc. And then we're going to be taking them to a vigil. So a slaughterhouse vigil is basically what you do is we go to a slaughterhouse, and we stop the trucks, the semi-trucks that have all the animals in the back, and they actually stop for us. I've been to just a couple recently for the first time. They stop for like 5 minutes and let the activists, if you want, like just look in at the animals, right? Before they get slaughtered. And they're either pigs or cows or chickens. And in the chickens, like 200,000 chickens get killed every day at the one slaughterhouse at the vigil. 200,000. It's insane. Yeah. But it's really interesting. So like you don't go in the slaughterhouse or anything. It's just like you're looking at the animals and like giving them water, maybe like petting their, like touching, like putting your fingers in and kind of like touching them if you can, and just like getting that experience, making eye contact with them. So all these, I'm gonna have a bunch of these people go and like get their experience, because like they're not vegan, they eat meat all the time, and I want to I'm not gonna be talking to them. It's all about them saying like what they're feeling, and then afterwards, after the vigil, we'll go back to the film set or whatever at the table, and then I'm gonna have them try out a bunch of different vegan food. So like vegan cheese, vegan ice cream, vegan meat, and then kind of just like, what do you know, your thoughts before and after. So that's the big one. That's the big video that I think I'm going to be uploading to my channel.
Yeah, that'll be cool. There's a few vegan YouTubers in Toronto or in that area, aren't there? I thought Vegan Games was up there.
Yep. Yes.
And Cheap Lazy Vegan? She's on vacation in Toronto right now because I'm on her Instagram.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she. I just started watching her channel, but yeah, she. Her last post, she's at some gelato place, Kiku or something like that. Posted it last night. Yeah, possible collapse. Vegan Games, he seems like he's a pretty cool guy, especially now that he's married. I think marriage mellowed him out some.
Yeah.
A lot.
I know him. I met him a few times. And
oh, you know Richard?
Yeah. He's awesome. He's such a nice guy. And he's so docile. I think that's a nice word. He's so nice and like friendly and in person and quiet. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured he was. I stopped watching him because I was like, man, this dude is I don't want to say too negative. For me, he was saying a lot of stuff, and I'm like, dude, you too young to have opinions like that about the world. But, people say the same thing about me, and I'm like, and I have to remind people, I'm like, you watch somebody on YouTube, sometimes we turn this camera on, and I'm not saying no YouTuber is real, but usually the people who do well on YouTube, they're all kind of introverted. Like, you turn on the camera, there's nobody there, you're talking to yourself. Sometimes you're literally talking to yourself, like, this is what I need to tell myself. And, people meet me and they're like, man, you're different in person. You're very, like, soft-spoken and quiet and nice. And I'm like, well, yeah, like, the internet's not real.
Yeah.
I will drop an F-bomb because I was in the Navy, but, yeah, like, that... I don't mean to say that I have a personality, but that is a personality.
Yeah, I mean,
that is.
Yeah, I agree. And like Vegan Gains, he puts on an even bigger show than most people in his videos.
Yeah.
And he's changed a lot. Like his old videos, I mean, he was only like 19, right? So.
Yeah.
But even now, he still he puts on a show on the and even I do on my videos a little bit. Like it's a video, you want to get people's attention. You got to be a little louder than normal.
Yeah. Infotainment.
Yeah.
What Elliot Holst called it. Infotainment. Well, cool. I could go on and talk, but the last episode was around a little over 90 minutes. This one is a little over 90 minutes. I definitely want to have another conversation soon, but and we can go 2-3 hours if you want to. Right now I want to get these first episodes posted next week so we can start hammering things home. But just for the people who don't know who you are in your channel, where can people find you and find out more about your work?
So on YouTube, if you just search Vincent Vendetta, Vendetta, Vincent Vendetta, I'll come up. I'll be the first one that comes up. And then, right now I'm making mostly Star Wars fan theory videos, like the Reylo. I'm having Reylo Part 2. I swear is going to be up soon, like less than a week. I swear. I've been saying that for like 2 months, and I have 10 more Star Wars theories coming out before The Last Jedi. And I'm really excited. And then I'm also on Twitter. My handle is @Mr. Big Noodle, but my name on there is Vincent Vendetta. But you can follow me on there too. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
All right, awesome. And I'm gonna have to start studying your videos so I can learn how to make stuff go viral too. Yeah. Especially the videos I put a lot of work into. I'm like, hey man, this needs to have a whole lot more views. What's the deal?
Definitely a lot in the title and the thumbnail, and just like your Finn will be a Jedi, or 5 reasons why that went viral, right?
Yeah, decently. It did. That was my channel first started. Yeah. That launched my channel, actually.
Yeah, that's a really good video.
Yeah. Well, I guess for me then, that means I need to sit down. When I did that, I basically, it was like I was writing an essay or something, which is what my first videos were. And I said, that's a lot of work. It's hard to keep putting videos like that. Putting videos out like that 2 or 3 or 5 times a week. So I had to, kind of dumb down the process. But I said, leading up to The Last Jedi, I'm gonna at least once a week sit down and, okay, let me really work on this and flesh it out and bring out my teleprompter. Write a real script. But anyway, man, it was good talking with you. We don't want to say everything. We got to leave these folks for more. So y'all, if you aren't already, hop over to YouTube, check out the videos on the Vincent Vendetta channel. Be sure to come back and check out his vegan stuff, especially if you're already vegan. You should be if you're following me, because I'm getting ready to start pumping that information out on my other channel as well. And follow him on Twitter. Are you on Facebook too, or just Twitter is the best place to contact you?
Yeah, I do have a Facebook. You can go there if you want. It's on my channel, but I mostly just go on Twitter. Okay, well, hop over to Twitter and push him to get that Reylo Chapter 2 video out, and be looking forward to the next 10 Star Wars theories coming from Vincent Vendetta. Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to come back. Good deal.